So, welcome to my quick tip for how to fall asleep. One of the things I've heard about, I've been doing this a long time. I've been working with adults and students and teaching them about the brain for probably 14 years now. And in that time, I think one of the most frequently asked questions is, have you ever come across anything that will help me fall asleep at night or help me stay asleep at night? Because I get tired of waking up every night at 3 a.m. and then I'm thinking, I only have 2.5 hours of sleep, and then I'm going over my to-do list, and then I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I need to get up and just get my work done, and this is every night, and I'm just so tired, and I just want to know what to do. And the honest truth is I now have the research. I can tell them these are the three things. These are the things that work, and I've got years and years and years of thousands of clients who come to me and say, I sleep now. Because of those things, I sleep now. So watch this. If you don't sleep, you're going to want to hear these. The first thing you need to know about going to sleep. This may be the only thing you need to know. And in order for this to work for you, to put your brain to sleep at night so you don't lay there, to make your brain sleep through the night in the event that you wake up, here it is. I want you to think of a time that you needed to get up, and everybody has this. Think of a time that you needed to get up before your alarm went off. Okay? Let's say you have to get up to I don't know, leave town or go to the airport or do something out of the ordinary. And you set your alarm for this bizarro time, like, I don't know, maybe 4:15, and your brain woke you up at 4:13. Have you ever done that? You needed to get up at 5 and you wake up at 4:59. Well, if yes is the answer for you, really think about that, because this is important. If you have ever needed to wake up and you really woke up without your alarm, then you believe you can wake yourself up. You've already done it. You've known you needed to get up and you actually woke up before your alarm. Then don't you also need to believe, if you can wake yourself up, don't you also need to believe that you can put yourself to sleep? If the answer is yes, then listen to me carefully. Watch your words. You have to talk like this. I fall asleep at night effortlessly. I stay asleep at night. I sleep through. I have no problem sleeping, because you see your brain is listening. And if you think you're going to fall asleep, you think you're going to stay awake, you're literally setting up your path. I fall asleep, I stay asleep, there's no problem. Careful what you say, because people who say, I never sleep, I don't need to sleep, I just don't sleep at night, really won't. But you see, you have the power to put yourself to sleep. That's method number one. Change your conversation. I fall asleep, I stay asleep, I go to sleep at 9, I wake up at 6, whatever your time is, you talk yourself through it, because you are in charge of whether you sleep or whether you wake. So the second method for how to fall asleep and stay asleep is to wake up to your life and realize that there's no such thing but the present moment. This, in my mind, is the new fad, and I love it, and it's not really new, because you see, Eastern cultures have been respecting the present moment for centuries, and only in the last 5, 8, or 10, or 12 years has the United States been focusing on the idea that present time is the healthiest place to be, also known as meditation or yoga, or things that make sure that you are here in present moment. That's your second method for falling asleep. That when you're laying in bed at night going to sleep, you only think about the present. The way you do that is you have to train your brain to be in charge of what you think. So as you lay there, you think of breathing in and just breathing in, and you think of breathing out and just breathing out. Nothing else. Not, I should have gotten this done today, I got to do that tomorrow, I'm dreading this next week. You just think about breathing in and what it feels like to breathe in, and breathing out and what it feels like to breathe out, because you are not allowed to have thoughts hijack you. There are too many stresses in the world. There are too many uncertainties. Of course you can worry about them. When you go to sleep, you are in present time. So one method for staying in present time is, like I said, focusing on your breathing. If that is too hard for you, make it more complex by focusing on your count. You breathe in 2, 3, and then listen carefully. You're going to breathe out more than you breathed in. Out 4, 5, 6. Keep breathing out 7, 8, 9, 10. Then you breathe in 2, 3, when you exhale more than you inhale, you lower your norepinephrine. When you breathe out more than you breathe in, you lower the anxiety because you're lowering your norepinephrine. Now, the good news is if you wake up at 3 in the morning and you breathe out 4, 5, you're like, oh no, I can't believe I'm awake. Just listen to me. That's where you breathe out 4, 5. I know I'm skipping to 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you feel like you're going to smother yourself and not be able to breathe, that's really good news. Because when you breathe in your 3 and go back to blowing it out, it means you had a surge of your norepinephrine and your breathing takes that level back down. You will fall asleep before you've gotten through one cycle of this counting. That's why it would be good news if when you wake up you feel like you're smothering if you push out to 10, because that means you're going to be able to equalize that chemistry imbalance. Third method for your present moment activity, getting yourself into present moment, because it's hard. And if you're not used to it because you're largely an American and you pay attention to whatever you feel like paying attention to, this is difficult. So if it's too hard to pay attention to present moment, and it's still too hard to just think of breathing into 3 and out to 10, I want you to do some math. Pick a number. I picked it for you. So in the event that you wake up or can't go to sleep, you pick 7,892 and you count backward by 7. You're not allowed to think about anything but that. You're not allowed to think, oh, I only have an hour and 45 minutes. You're not allowed to think, I should have gotten this done. You're not allowed to think, I've got to do my grading. Not allowed to think, I didn't return that call. All you think about, counting backward by 7. You can think about other things. If you want to let your mind wander, if there are all kinds of things coming in for you, it's fine. You can think about them. But just know, if you allow those thoughts, it increases your norepinephrine. You allow those thoughts, it changes your chemistry, increases your blood flow. So you stay awake, which is okay. But just know that you're choosing to stay awake. And don't say things like this, I can't sleep. There's nothing I can do about it. Oh, it's so awful. I'm the one who just only sleeps 5 hours a night. I got news for you. Everybody needs a thick chunk of sleep. Everybody has to have 8 or 8 hours or 8.5 hours. So you have your method number 2. Method number 3 is one that I imagine will shock you. It's music, listening to certain types of music. Now, I was in a conference over 10 years ago with Dr. Stephen Halpern, who's a composer. In the 1970s, he was telling us this in this conference. He was a composer who was looking to understand why music impacted him like it did. So here's what he found. Certain types of music did impact him. And in the 70s, when everybody was hearing about how slow Baroque improved and enhanced certain type of learning, Halpern decided he was going to research it. So here's what he did. He researched the music and he found the therapeutic property is when you are not predicting what's coming next. Our brain, you see, predicts the sounds. It's a part of survival. If we know what we're listening to, we can potentially save ourselves. Jump out of the way, run and get it, catch it. Listening and predicting is what we do. So what Halpern did was take the principles of slow Baroque, that it's not predictive, and this is where his music came from. So his compositions don't follow a predictive pattern, which allows your brain to go from beta state, where you're actively paying attention and trying to learn, to alpha state, where we seem to be more responsive, reflective, and have a lower level of stress. People who listen to non-predictive properties of music, I have my clients listen to Halpern. They fall asleep, and they stay asleep. Predictive means dun 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 dun. If you heard yourself finish that up and go dun 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 dun, that's predictive. If you are not predicting, it lowers your stress level. If you are not predicting, you change your EEG so that you can take your stress down. Common side effects of listening to predictive or non-predictive properties: people can read and comprehend better when they're reading. They stop talking. They get calm. They fall asleep. It works on animals, puppies. My puppy was crazy. And when I had to leave, he would cry. I played Halpern, he was calm. A client came and told me, oh, my puppy had surgery and was hurting, and even the pain meds didn't help. She turned on Halpern, the baby went to sleep. Her dog, who had just gone through surgery, went to sleep. It wasn't a puppy. Her dog was older. Just fell asleep. Non-predictive properties are really, truly magic. Students can read without being disturbed by what they're hearing. Students calm down. They stop talking. They come to a place of peace. My clients tell me, I hit the play, I fall asleep, I stay asleep, because the brain is not predicting what's coming next. So if you hear this, that's predictive. Halpern doesn't follow predictive. Turn it on, listen to it, everything changes. One of my clients a couple of years ago came to me and said, hey, my wife took your music class last month, and I have always slept only 5 hours, even since I was a little kid. He said she brought home a CD with the non-predictive property. All of Halpern's music is non-predictive, so it doesn't matter what you pick. Pick any of the Halpern music. He said, I put the earbud in my ear, laid down, and for the first time in my life, he said, I've always slept 5 hours. Always, since I was a little kid. I slept 8 hours through the night. He said, I woke up and went, this is what life feels like? I'm not kidding you. In that workshop where I was training about music and the brain and the effects on your body, like 8 people stood up and walked over to buy this CD. Another client said her husband walked in asleep. She played the music, hit the replay. He slept through the night. Another client had a son who had night terrors, which is nightmares, night terrors. She hit the play, played it through the night, no night terrors. She said she sat up straight in bed, like in the morning, and went, oh no, what's happened? My child slept through the night. She said she ran in and checked on him. Sure enough, he slept through the night. A week or so, actually a month later, I called her to check up, and I said, do you still play this music every night to make sure they fall asleep and stay asleep? She said, yeah, no, I don't. Because after I played it 3 or 4 nights, it broke their pattern and I forgot to play the music, but nobody walked in their sleep again. There was not a nightmare. It was the same lady. Her husband and her son had a disturbance. And I've got like 15, 20, 30 different stories and more of people who hit the play on Halpern, on low, hit the replay, and they sleep through the night. Especially newborns. Now, years ago, I used to think everybody just slept through the night because I was telling the research about what happens in your brain when you listen to this music. But if newborns fall asleep and stay asleep listening to it, the research didn't have the effect. If puppies and dogs and cats fall asleep and stay asleep, well, I don't know about stay asleep, but they sleep through the night on the 4th of July and can tolerate pain. But this is not something that is a placebo. It's something that really, truly works. And of course, our placebos always work. There are your 3 methods. None of them are medication. You're not going to have side effects. They're not drugs, and they're going to work for you tonight. If 1 doesn't work, try 2. If 2 doesn't work, try 3. And then let me know, because I want to hear how it goes. You've just seen an example of how I do my classes online, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you're interested in more. www.kenbevel.com. Thank you.